Good morning, class. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today I would like to take a look at one of the practice problems in Chapter 8. So I have loaded this to your Canvas account and it is titled Energy Conservation Practice Problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at the problem. Just follow along as I read this to you. Determine the cost savings for converting your home's lighting system from incandescent light bulbs to fluorescent light bulbs over the course of 1 year, given the following. And on your worksheet, you're given 4 bullet points. Number 1, we're starting out with 22 incandescent light bulbs, and they are at 100 watts per hour for each bulb. We're going to replace them with 22 fluorescent light bulbs at 23 watts per bulb. And then the lights are on in the house for 3.75 hours each day. And the utilities cost is 11.9 cents. So in decimal form for dollars, we have 0.119 per kilowatts. So on part A, it wants us to calculate the amount of energy used by the incandescent bulbs in 1 year. And the units they're wanting it in are in kilowatts, okay? So let's just take each one at a time. So I'm going to focus on A, and everyone needs a calculator. We're going to be performing a lot of dimensional analysis, so make sure you have a calculator. So we're starting with the incandescent bulbs. We have 22 bulbs. So let's just start up here. We have 22 bulbs. And each bulb requires energy of 100 watts per hour per bulb. So what we're going to do is say 100 watts per hour, and this is for each bulb. Okay? So immediately you can tell that we're going to be canceling some units, so we're using dimensional analysis here. So those bulbs will cancel. So 22 times 100 is 2,200. And right now we are in units of watts per hour. Okay, now one of the bullet points tells us that the lights are on 3.75 hours per day, 7 days a week. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 3.75 hours per day, and they are on 7 days a week. So what we want to do is convert this to how many watts are being consumed per year. So we know that there are 7 days in 1 week. And we know that there are 52 weeks per year. So 52 weeks in the numerator, 1 year in the denominator. So let's go ahead and take a look at our units here. So our units of hours is going to cancel. Our units of days will cancel because we have day in the denominator here and day in the numerator here. Now let's take a look at weeks. We have weeks in the denominator here and weeks in the numerator here. Those will cancel. And it's going to leave us with units of watts used per year. So let's go ahead and take out your calculator. We have 2,200 times 3.75 times 7 times 52. And this is going to give us 3,003,000 watts per year. Okay, now it's asking the energy used by the incandescent bulbs in 1 year. So we're specifically looking at the energy here, but it wants us to convert it from units of watts to units of kilowatts. Well, we know that 1,000 watts is equal to 1 kilowatt. Okay, So what let's do is let's multiply this. We're going to use dimensional analysis again to convert from watts per year to kilowatts per year. So I have 3,000 watts per year, and we're going to multiply this by 1 kilowatt divided by 1,000 watts. Now in this situation we put the watts in the denominator because we have watts in the numerator here. So we want to use dimensional analysis to cancel the units of watts. So 3,003,000 divided by 1,000 is going to be 3,003 kilowatts. And we're going to have units of kilowatts per year. Okay, but like I mentioned earlier, the problem is asking us for the energy used by the incandescent bulbs in 1 year. Okay, so it's just looking for the energy used in units of kilowatts. So for part A, the answer is 3,003 kilowatts. Okay, now let's take a look at part B, the energy used by the fluorescent bulbs in 1 year. And we need units of kilowatts again. So we're actually going to follow the exact same process, okay? So we have 22 fluorescent bulbs at 23 watts per bulb. So we're going to start out with 22 bulbs. We're going to multiply this by 23 watts per hour per bulb. And the lights are on for 3.75 hours each day. Okay, so we know that the units of bulbs will cancel. Let's go ahead and multiply 22 and 23. That's going to be 506 watts per hour. Okay, and we're going to multiply by 3.75 hours. Per day. Okay, and we're going to follow this process here. So there are 7 days in 1 week, and there are 52 weeks in 1 year. Okay, so 506 times 3.75 times 7 times 52, and I get 690,690, and we are in watts per year. Now we need to convert this to kilowatts, and remember there are 1,000 watts for every kilowatt. So we are going to multiply by 1 kilowatt divided by 1,000 watts. And the amount of energy that we're going to use each year is going to be 690.69 kilowatts per year. Okay, so part B, our answer is 690.69 kilowatts. So for part C, it wants us to calculate the cost to operate the incandescent bulbs for 1 year. Now, in our givens, it tells us that the utilities cost is 11.9 cents. And like I mentioned earlier, so in decimal form for dollars, this is 0.119 per kilowatt. So what we're going to do is, and I'm going to use a subscript of INC for incandescent. So cost of the incandescent bulbs, this is going to be equal to the energy used times the cost per kilowatt. Okay? So our energy used, we need to take a look at our calculated value for part A. This is going to be 3,003 kilowatts. We are going to multiply this by the cost per kilowatt right here. So in dollars, we have 0.119 per kilowatt. The units of kilowatt will cancel. So 3,003 times 0.119, that's going to give me 357.36. Okay, so the cost to operate these 22 incandescent light bulbs in the house for 1 year is $357.36. So this is the answer to part C. Let's go ahead and write the answer here. And let's include our dollar sign. Okay, so for part D, in part D, it wants us to calculate the cost for the fluorescent light bulbs each year. So I'm going to say cost of the fluorescent light bulbs is going to be the energy used multiplied by the cost per kilowatt. Well, we know that we used much less energy when we switched to the fluorescent bulbs. And so we need to calculate this 690.69 kilowatts. And the cost is going to be 0.119 per kilowatt. My units of kilowatts are going to cancel. So 690.69 times our cost per kilowatt. This gives me 82.20. So the cost to operate the fluorescent light bulbs in 1 year is only $82.20. Okay, so significantly less. Now in part E, it says calculate the cost savings of using the fluorescent bulbs instead of the incandescent bulbs for 1 year. Okay, so the cost difference is going to be the cost of the incandescent bulbs minus the cost of the fluorescent bulbs. So the cost of the incandescent bulbs, we're going to use our calculated value in part C here, $357.36 minus $82.20. And this gives me $275.16. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the space provided here. And so what we have just calculated is the cost savings of using the fluorescent bulbs instead of the incandescent bulbs in 1 year. So I hope this example problem has helped you with Chapter 8. Please let me know if you have any questions. Like always, you can call me or you can send me an email, and I would love to help you out. So if you have any questions, just contact me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.